Hello everyone. Today Ben, Ricardo and I will be informing you about things you might want to avoid and things you should probably do if you go to Japan. Here's what I'll be telling you about in this lesson. We've got chopstick placement and sharing food. First of all, chopstick placement. Don't place your chopsticks in a cross, parallel on the bowl or plate, or upright in it. Depending on the rotation of the cross, it could mean different things. If it's in a plus shape, it signifies that you are ready for your next dish. But if it's placed in an X shape, it would signify that you are displeased with your food. Placing your chopsticks parallelly on the bowl or plate also differs in meaning, depending on the orientation. If the chopsticks are placed vertically, it signifies that you have finished eating, while placing them horizontally differs from the previous one by adding that the food was excellent. These examples are to be avoided if it's not what you mean to say, but the final one is to be avoided at all costs.
Excellent.
Placing your chopsticks upright in a bowl is associated with funerals and the dead. It is considered a taboo in Japan and a bad omen, so you should never do it. Like ever. Instead of exhausting your brain, always trying to not to misplace your chopsticks, simply place them on the provided hashioki or chopstick rest. And now on to sharing food. Don't use the same side of the chopsticks which you eat with to share your food with others. Instead, use the opposite side. Because not only is it considered impolite, but it's also unsanitary. Another thing that many people could do wrong is how they pass the food. Don't pass your food from chopstick to chopstick or receive it, because it's synonymous with cremation, as in that situation, the bones of the deceased are moved from, like with large chopstick-like tools, from one place to another. Instead, you could simply place the food in the recipient's bowl or plate, or have them take it from yours. Or if you're very close, you can directly feed it to them. That's everything I'm gonna present to you. So, if you have any questions, now's the time.
面白い。
Okay.
面白い.
So that's good.
I was going to ask actually one thing, because I didn't know about the like bones of the dead being passed around. What are those chopsticks that they're using?
I mean, they're basically like large, like they're kind of like chopsticks, but I think they were metal, and they just used them to like to be far from the fire where they cremate the body.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So is it used to kind of so what is it used for, to actually pick up the dead body? Or?
Yeah, it's basically to take the bone one by one.
Okay.
So it becomes ashes.
Oh.
Like it combusts better. Yeah.
Right. I see. Ben is gonna talk to us now about like getting around in Japan, different transport that you can use, and do's or don'ts with that. Okay. Ikimashou.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about getting around in Japan, and that includes like the buses, the trains, and taxi cabs. So buses are a really, really cheap way to travel around in Japan. The flat rate usually about 210 yen, and like the normal fare once you reach your destination probably is about 500 yen per trip. There are many bus stations and bus stops around Japan, with the bus stations usually being near to a train station. So if you're in a train station, or you think there might be one nearby, if you're looking for one, look at the signs. Let's say Basu Noriba. Otherwise, you can probably see them dotted around on the side of roads, just like any other country in the world. So you can use your Suica or Pasmo on the bus system. I'll go over what the Suica and Pasmo are later in the PowerPoint. But if you don't have one of these passes, there's also a machine where you can insert coins into to get the fare, and just don't forget to take your ticket. It's really easy to forget your ticket because it just comes out. The driver doesn't, or sometimes doesn't tell you, like, and until you've walked away. Like in my experience, I got on the bus, paid some money for the ticket, and I walked away not knowing there was a ticket coming out. And the driver called me back to say that there was a ticket in there I needed to take. So to obviously thank him for if you forget it, and thank you for reminding you. But generally on the bus drivers are really, really nice, and they're quite spacious. Even though they seem small, they are quite spacious. Just be mindful of other people on the bus. If there's an old lady that needs to sit down somewhere next to you, and if they've got a bag on the seat, just move it and be nice. But generally, people are nice on the bus, so you don't need to worry about that. It can be talkative. Some of the elderly people are really interested in talking to foreigners, seeing where they're from, and where they're going in Japan, and see what they think of the culture sometimes. So yeah, if someone talks to you, just be polite and talk back. So to trains, this is probably the biggest section of public transport because
Suica card.
they go everywhere, literally. Like from the sprawling cities right out to the countryside, they reach really far, and you could probably get most places on these Suica cards. So the Suica card is issued generally for the train system, the JR lines, and the Pasmo are usually for the metro system in Tokyo. But you can interchange them, and you can use the Suica on the metro line if you wanted to, or the Pasmo on the JR line, or even you can use them on the buses. Like I said before, they can be issued at any station, including the stations at the airport. At a self-serve kiosk, they have sort of like in the London Underground, or I'm not sure what it'd be in Brazil, but it's something similar to that. If you know, where you top up the Oyster card and you swipe in, so it's really convenient and it's really easy to get, so you don't need to worry about that. And even with the language barrier, the kiosks have an English option. So you really don't need to worry about that. And even if you are still having trouble, you can press an assistance button, and often a small Japanese man will come out from between the machines to help you. It can be really funny sometimes. So when you are ready to get on the train and the trains are approaching, you will often see like barriers or like lines on the floor. And they are to show you where you should be queuing. So it's easier for people to get off the train who have just got off the train, and so they can get it on the train to keep it nice and efficient. Recently, or maybe a couple of years ago, I can't remember when the article came out, but there was a train in Tokyo that left 20 seconds early, and they made a massive apology for the train leaving early. Like in England, that'd be great. Well, the train left early, but no, not in Japan. It needs to be on time, exactly on time, and this queuing system helps that happen. If you are a male, be wary of the women-only carriages. The women-only carriages were made so that the women could have a safe space on the train, as there was quite a lot of groping, unfortunately, in some of the trains. So if you're a woman, feel free to go onto that platform. Onto that carriage. If you're a man, you definitely want to avoid this. When boarding a train in Japan, make sure you have your mobile phone on silent. This can differ throughout many countries, but Japan, it's really mandatory to have them on silent or mana mode, as the sign says there, because it can be rude if your phone goes off. You got loads of people looking at you, like all distracted from what they're doing or talking. Because if you are on a Japanese train, they are generally quite quiet overall. The only thing you can really hear is the train moving and the announcements.
Just a question, if I can ask. This mana mode, is it from the English manner, from being mannered in front of others, or what?
I'd imagine so. So like, it's probably good manners to have it on silent so you don't disturb people.
Yeah.
That's probably where it comes. Where it comes from. And the same goes for making and taking phone calls. It's seen as rude to talk to somebody on the phone whilst you're on a train.
In Japan, everything is rude.
There's quite a lot.
Everything you do is rude.
If you're going long distance in Japan, definitely use the Shinkansen. Unfortunately, you can't use your Suica and Pasmo, as these services are generally quite expensive. When I went from Tokyo to Hamamatsu, which is just over an hour away, or just under an hour away on the Shinkansen, it cost me about 20,000 yen, or £180.
Whoa.
It can be really expensive, and like if you're going from Tokyo to Osaka, it can probably cost a little bit more than that. You can purchase a ticket from the ticket office, or if you're not feeling like speaking Japanese, you can also purchase them at the self-serve kiosks where you top up your JR card or Metro Pass. As I say, it can be a little bit difficult if you don't know any Japanese to get a ticket. Some stations, I'd imagine, don't have the Suica and IC card, the IC card, which is what the Suica and Pasmo are known as collectively. Kiosks. So sometimes you have to go directly to the ticket office, and a lot of the time, the people running the ticket office don't know Japanese. So on the next slide, I've prepared a sort of mini scenario. That could possibly be a sort of conversation between somebody wanting to go to Kyoto and a train ticket office person. Well, English is not my best language. There we go. Whenever you're ready, Tyriq.
はい、次、いってらっしゃいませ。
はい。明日の京都行きの切符、新幹線でおください。
かしこまりました。はい。どんな時間は旅行が欲しいたいですか？
明日の朝お願いします。
了解です。今を待ってください。お待たせしました。切符どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。またね。
気をつけてくださいね。
Yeah, so often they'll ask words like if you just say I want to go Shinkansen, it's like where do you want to go? So you say Kyoto, I want to go to Kyoto. They will ask you what time we want to travel. Usually it's between in the morning, asa, afternoon, gogo, or evening. Tyriq, remind me what evening is? I keep forgetting.
Yubet. Yubet is the right word? Yoru?
It probably is that.
Yoru. I think
Yoru, that's the one.
Yoru.
I keep getting mixed up with ban for nights. Just choose whatever time suits you. They may also ask you what class you want to travel in, so that could be first class, and that's easy. That's just a gai gokoro, which is a borrowed word from English, which would be first class. or economy, which is a little bit different. But if you want, you just choose whatever suits you. I went by economy class, and it's actually really nice. The seats are really comfortable. It's really spacious. There's enough space for a 30-liter suitcase at the back of the trains, or even a bike if you wanted to take a bike on the train. But make sure you can, like, it's a folding bike or something. I'm not sure about the rules about taking bikes on the Shinkansen or any train. Yeah. So taxi cabs. Be careful when you approach a taxi cab, as the door may open automatically. It's controlled by the driver, so you just got to be wary of it. So don't stand too close, or you might actually get hit by the door, and possibly with some force. So you don't want to get hit. But also when you're inside the taxi, don't close the door either, as the driver will do this again. He or she will also close the door. It's best to know how to say where you are going in Japanese. Say if you arrived at Shibuya Station and you wanted to go to a place in Setagaya. So if you say I want
Or a hotel.
or a hotel, yes, yeah. If you know what the hotel is called, it's more than likely the driver will know where you're talking about. But if the driver doesn't understand, it's okay to show them on Google Maps before setting off, so they definitely know where you're going. When trying to hail a cab in Japan, there are two options. Find a taxi stand, which are usually outside main train stations like Shinjuku, Shibuya, probably the airports as well, Haneda, Narita, Kansai International, places like that. Or you can flag one down on the side of the street, but you must make sure that it's in a safe place for the driver to stop, or the driver just won't stop. Also, to help people know whether the cab is full or not, vacant or occupied, in the window there is a little display, and you want to look for the red sign that says vacant. If you want to flag down a cab, if it's occupied, again they will probably just drive past. Paying in taxis is getting a lot easier these days. You can they are starting to accept payment by cards like MasterCard or Visa, and they are also accepting Suica and Pasmo recently as well. But if you are paying by cash, make sure you hand the driver a sensible amount of money for the cab fares. So say if your trip was 1,000 yen, don't hand them a 10,000 yen bill, because it'd be like handing a UK cab driver £50 for a £5 journey, if that even exists. But they won't have the change, and probably wouldn't like to accept a 10,000 yen bill for an 1,000 yen trip. Unlike most places in Japan, don't tip, which leads on to Ricardo's next section.
Yeah.
Before we go into that section, does anyone have any questions at all? Alright, cool. Okay, Ricardo, dozo.
Hi. So tipping in Japan, as you might or might not know, tipping in Japan is not it's not seen as a good thing to do. And like Ben said, you can't tip in taxis, you can't tip in restaurants, you can't tip anywhere. It's just like that's just the way Japan is. So I don't think there's much to talk about. There's not much to talk about tipping, because that's it. That's the rule in Japan. You just can't tip because they consider as a rule act. Like as if you're looking down on them because they always the main goal is to deliver you the best service ever. And when you're tipping them, it's like you're looking down on them. That's just Japanese people think. But if you really want to tip, if you're the generous, kind of generous, I'll say, hara, yeah. And you want to tip, there's one place you can tip, where is with tour guides. But when you tip them, you can't just take the money out from your wallet straight away. So you have to put in an envelope, but it has to be with those decorations and bow to them and give to them. Otherwise, they won't accept the tip. That's just how they do in Japan. I mean, there's not much. Apart from that, there's not much to say about tipping. But although it's not on the slide, there's another do and don't in Japan as well, which is for smoking. Because in Japan, you're not allowed to smoke in the streets like we do in UK or any other country. As there's like some designated smoking areas where you have to smoke only there. And plus, most places in Japan, they have like a smoking area. So in Japan, it's more common to see people smoking inside than outside. Smoking outside is not acceptable in Japan. Yeah, don't think I have much to say.
Yeah, is that's the same with like eating outside in Japan as well, like eating on the street, like
No, in Japan, yeah, actually you can eat in the street, but you can't eat and walk at the
While
same time.
walking. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you, for example, if you sit in a park and you eat, or if you even if you're in the middle, if you're in the street, but you stop in one place and you're eating, it's all right. You just can't sit and walk at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Or eat and walk
Which,
at the same time.
yeah, which is weird to be honest.
Is that the same with drinking? Like if you got water and you're just drinking the water, you have to stop.
No, drinking is fine. Apart from alcohol you really can't drink outside.
Right.
But water you can drink it and walk. It's just
Is drinking alcohol outside a crime or something? Or is it just like culture not to do?
I would say it can it's like it's a crime, but it's not like a very serious one. Because even in UK,
everywhere it's like that. Like you can't just go out with a bottle of booze and be drinking it. That's why most people put it in a bag to at least kind of be like, yeah, I'm not showing that it's booze.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty different to me because here in Brazil, it's not uncommon to like go out and see like even teenagers drinking outside and don't give in a care in the world.
no.
I mean, yeah, it could be common, but still, it's not a good thing to do.
I mean, in UK, it's actually against the law to do that. You can actually sleep in sleep. No, you won't go to jail, but you will sleep. You will sleep in the police station.
You're gonna be in a police station overnight. Yeah.
If you drink outside.
I've just found an article that says it's legal to drink on the street in Japan, but it's like frowned upon. To do it.
It looks like you're a depressed salaryman.
Oh yeah.
I think it's okay if it's right outside the izokaya that you were drinking in. Like if
for example, the vending machine that you just took the alcohol from.
Yeah.
True.
You're not walking around.
Yeah, it's like I think you can eat outside the vending machine because you obviously just got the food from there, but like moving around is not.
It's not like England where you can just scran a sandwich that you bought in Boots while you're on your way to your next lecture.
Yeah. Not really, can't really do that. But that probably explains why there's not as much. I don't believe there's as much litter in the ground in Japan either.
No,
Not
it's
at all.
really, really clean.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
clean.
They have like council workers cleaning it up on the hour, every hour, or just all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, that people are taught to keep the rubbish with them until they can dispose of it correctly.
Like on my last day in Japan, I went to oh god, I can't remember. Oguko, something like that. I can't remember. It's a little bit north than main Tokyo, like. And one of the escalators into the shopping center, there was a guy at the bottom with a wet sanitized cloth. Just hold it against one of the rails to sanitize the rubber rail on the escalator, rubber handrail on the escalator.
What
So
to
This
keep
guy's
it
like
living in 3020.
It's probably more of a popular thing to do now.
Mm.
Was that more because they just wanted to keep hygienic?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, keep everything clean, like pick up all rubbish, and even though there was none, like I don't think I saw any rubbish or any fly tipping in the places that I went to.
Right.
Another thing that's interesting is that there isn't a place for cars to park on the street. So that's why you can see the streets as like kind of empty, but also more appealing.
There's a lot of underground car parks to like counter for that. Across from the Skytree, the Tokyo Skytree, there is a supermarket, and like the car park is underneath the supermarket.
Right. So
Interesting.
that's
It's
it's almost like to preserve the landscape, the view.
Yes.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I've just found out about littering, and it looks like it's called illegal dumping in Japan. Carries a penalty up to 5 years, or fine of 10 million yen.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It says £9,000 around there.
Yeah, it says $92,100, but I'm not sure. In pounds, that's probably around.
Probably.
Pound is about twice. No, not twice. Pound is nearly as much as the dollar nowadays.
Yeah, it's probably
a bit more.
A bit more, but like not much really.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 1.1 and 1.2, I guess.
Yeah, so it's probably about
$1.2.
Well, at some point it was twice as much as the dollar.
Yeah, that's
about 10 years ago.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed quite a lot since.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so please don't litter if you go to Japan, or make sure you have zip pockets you can put your rubbish in. Like, yeah. But yeah, cool. Thank you for listening to the lesson.